The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it. Oh, yesterday the soil of Burkina Faso witnessed something big that the mainstream media doesn't know how to talk about it. This was so historic. If the mountain wouldn't go to Mohammed, Mohammed would definitely go to the mountain. General Evariste Ndayishimiye, the president of Burundi, landed in Ouagadougou. But look at the reception. He wasn't met with cold, stiff Western protocols. Captain Ibrahim Traore are all in all the savior, the protector, the unifier, the messiah, the king of kings. Met him at the airport and placed a saponi hat on his head. That hat is not just a piece of clothing. It represents dignity, welcome, and African fraternity. It is a powerful symbol because Ndayishimiye is not just the leader of Burundi. He is the sitting chairperson of the African Union and the AU's special envoy to the Sahel. This is the first time in the history of Alliance of the Sahel States, AES, that the top man of the African Union has walked into the Kaluba Palace to sit down with the revolution on their own territory. Now you have to understand who we are dealing with here, because the background matters as much as the visit itself. In July 2025, he was appointed as the special envoy by then the chairperson, Joe Lourenço. Within a week, he was on the ground, meeting Assimi Goïta and Captain Ibrahim Traore in Ouagadougou. But fast forward to February 2026, at the AU Assembly in Addis Ababa, he was elected the chairperson of the entire body. So he is now the chairperson of African Union. So now, the man who was the messenger is now the leader. And why does this matter? Because Burundi is not a hostile actor. Burundi was the first African country to dump the ICC in 2017 for the exact same reasons the AES did, calling it a tool of neo-colonial oppression. This is an envoy whose own country has walked the path the AES is walking now. The agenda is what I want you to pay close attention to. They are talking about security, yes, but they are also doing a tour of socio-economic infrastructure projects across Burkina Faso. Listen to me. And Ndayishimiye is not just coming to talk. He is also coming to see. After all, they say, seeing is believing. He wants to verify with his own eyes if what Captain Ibrahim Traore says he is doing or what we have been talking about concerning Captain Ibrahim Traore is actually true. When a head of state asks to see the infrastructure, he is asking to verify if the Sahel is actually building the sovereignty they claim, or what we have been saying concerning the alliance of AES is actually the case.
I wish to express my profound gratitude to my brother, President Ibrahim Traore, and to the esteemed people of Burkina Faso for the exceptionally warm and generous welcome that has been extended to me and my entire delegation from the very moment of our arrival here. I found Burkina Faso to be a country that has truly achieved stability, inhabited by a wonderfully kind people who welcomed us with such genuine joy. I also take this opportunity to sincerely congratulate my comrade and brother Ibrahim Traore for his remarkable courage, his unwavering dedication, and his profound commitment to ensuring peace and stability in his country. What I have found clearly demonstrates that the people are united behind their institutions to combat the common enemy. I also commend the Burkinabe people for their patriotic spirit and their unwavering support for their president. I am here today in my official capacity as the President of the African Union, and I am also very pleased to have met my brother, who is also the President of the Alliance of Sahel States. As you are well aware, the African Union has made the decision to dispatch me as a special envoy for the African Union to the Sahel region. It also demonstrates that the spirit of the African Union is beginning to see clearly what the true union of the African Union actually means. It is true, African countries have their own particular problems, each with its very specific characteristics. Burkina Faso also faces its own challenges, but these challenges do not prevent our unity from remaining. Our solidarity must endure. It is for this reason that the African Union must establish a robust and solid bridge that will effectively link the Burkinabe people to the broader African peoples, as well as connecting Burkinabe institutions with other African institutions. So, I have indeed come here specifically to solidify this connection and to engage in conversations about a wide range of different subjects, especially the issues concerning the fight against terrorism in the Sahel region, but also the path towards the stabilization of this nation, and how to also reestablish the strong relations that ought to exist between the Sahel states and the African Union. The discussions were conducted very successfully, and as a result, I now possess a comprehensive understanding of the objective reality pertaining to the Sahel region, and equally important, the Burkinabe people. And I intend to prepare a comprehensive report, which will be an objective one, and I will present it to the African Union. And I truly hope that, based on this report, our relations will once again be strengthened, allowing us to move forward together towards a shared future.
So this man saying he wants to tour the place is, I want to verify to go and tell them. But here is where it gets heavy. The relationship between the AU and AES has been a mess. On this channel, I have told you, if ECOWAS is that deadbeat daddy who doesn't want to be responsible, the African Union is the head of it all. The biggest deadbeat organization in the whole of Africa. They have struggled to find an entry point because the AES walked away from ECOWAS and declared itself irreversible. ECOWAS, we know, has tried a lot of ways to bring these leaders back into the bloc, but failed. They used mediators like Saul, Mahama, Houthi, and they all failed. Why? Because the AES has no intention of returning to a puppet union. The African Union is supposed to be the head, yet it behaves like the puppet of the West. It is an institution historically dependent on the external partners. You understand, when they are funding them. When the European Union pays the bills, the EU writes the priorities. When the US underwrites the logistics, they decide where the attention goes. He who pays the piper dictates the tone. The AES looked at the arrangement and walked away. And look at the hypocrisy. The moment Ndayishimiye was appointed, Human Rights Watch rushed to write him an open letter telling him to condemn violations by the Sahel forces. Unbelievable. But I have a question for Human Rights Watch or whatever. Where was your open letter when the GNIM was blocking Malian cities? Where was your report when the TT setting tanker trucks on fire and cutting off the civilians in September 2025? They can produce a 10,000-word report the moment a Burkina soldier is accused of misconduct. But they can't find the ink to demand support for the AES in their fight against T groups. That tells you exactly whose priority they serve. They have never served the interests of Africa, never will they ever do. While these diplomats are meeting, the Malian armed forces are proving the revolution is real. On April 18, 2026, the Malian military conducted a precision airstrike in Lukumani. They didn't just strike, they swept the ground and found a massive supply hub, 2 tanker heads, pickers, minibuses, 14 motor bicycles. This was the base used to strangle the Malian economy. And look at this. The intelligence for this strike didn't come from a foreign satellite. It came from the Malian people. When the population cooperates with the military, the T group loses their invisibility. This is a people's war, and it is producing results that the Western press refuses to acknowledge. And whenever it comes to the African doing something big, they don't ever want to prove that the African is capable of anything. The AU under Ndayishimiye has a choice. This visit is a narrow window for genuine dialogue, not a dialogue about returning to constitutional order, constitutional rule, but a dialogue about security and sovereignty. And this was the so-called reason they are in Sahel. The AES is doing the hardest fighting on this continent. They should not be antagonized. They should be supported. The institutions the West built for Africa, the borders, the democracy, the economic system were never meant to serve us. They were meant to manage us. The AES is the first generation to say that openly and build an alternative. The African Union must now decide. Do they want to be part of the new rules being written in the Sahel, or do they want to keep easy win press release from the sidelines while the revolution passes them by? We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.